evening and thanks for joining us. The city of Winnipeg has been in a deep freeze now for a whole 4 weeks. Those cold temperatures carry on throughout much of the prairie region with wind chill warnings in Alberta and the entire province of Saskatchewan. With wind chill temperatures hitting 50 degrees below zero, exposed skin can get frostbite in less than 5 minutes. Beating that cold is becoming unbearable. Katie Nicholson has more.
Ken Datskew's snowblower cuts through the snow, but nothing can cut through the cold.
It's been brutal. Yeah, usually it's January and the first part of February. Now it looks like it'll go to May.
For the last 4 weeks, Winnipeg has been locked in a deep freeze. The cold biting into infrastructure, even freezing cars into the road. It's not just Manitoba. Most of the prairies are in winter's icy grip, biting temperatures in Edmonton. The entire province of Saskatchewan painted red with extreme wind chill warnings. Manageable, so long as you have heat.
And all of a sudden we heard kind of like an explosion kind of thing, and all of a sudden the lights started flickering and then they went off.
The sound, a snowplow hitting a hydro pole, plunging everyone in this apartment into the dark and the cold. Jessica Paul packed her bags. She's staying with her mother.
I don't like winter at all.
No argument here. Firefighters aren't just battling fire. They're battling the cold.
Danger is just it's so extremely slippery, cold, and we are worried about the frigid temperature. And then working with water at this temperature, it makes our jobs just challenging.
The ladders jam in the ice. The hoses rendered stiff and unusable.
Good morning, Parsons.
For some, the big chill means big business as pipes freeze solid across the city.
The guys are doing a lot of overtime and just to keep up.
There was just absolutely nothing and not even a drip.
It's so hard to get a plumber. Many are forced to try a do-it-yourself remedy.
We've actually got a heat lamp on this pipe now, so we're actually trying to warm this pipe up.
It works for pipes, but what about people?
You play a lot of guitar in the basement with your friends. Keep warm that way. Couple of pops. It's all good.
He'll need that attitude this weekend. These extreme sub-zeros expected to last well into Monday. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, that extreme weather isn't just happening in other parts of the country. Our city has experienced multiple record-breaking low temperatures this past week. We've had heavy snowfall that came with it as well. For our question of the day, we wanted to know if you still believe in global warming.
I still believe in global warming, yes.
How come?
Just because of all the changes in our climate. Something's causing it, and I don't think it's just, normal changes.
It doesn't appear that way. It's the coldest winter I can remember, and since good time to go away though.
I'm having my doubts.
How come?
I expect it to be the winter not to be so severe.
No.
How come?
Because it's going to be winter no matter what time of year it is here in Canada.
Well, because it's so cold, it never used to get this cold, so there's got to be a reason for it.
I would say yes.
How come?
The cold weather, unnatural for this time of year, well, this long anyways. So I believe that, yeah, the environmental effects are definitely affecting the weather.
2014 is shaping up to be a busy year in politics. It's an election year municipally. A provincial election looms, and one of our local members of parliament just became the second sitting member for the Green Party. Tonight, 5 of our local politicians share what they look forward to accomplishing in the coming year.
There are uphill battles to fight with the Harper government that never seem to end. Canada Post, of course, is the latest one, and 8,000 people losing their jobs, and now Canada Post being given a pension holiday. So there are some serious issues here with Canada Post that will be front and center in the new year.
My big goal for 2014 was similar to my goal for the last several years. I have the greatest staff in the world, people like Vicky, Shannon, Ron, Martine, and lots of volunteers, and they help a lot of people in northwestern Ontario with their government problems. And so my goal is to continue to do the best job I can to help those people.
I would really love to see us be able to build upon the angioplasty program at Thunder Bay Regional Health Sciences Centre. I think the next step that we want to see happen there is a full cardiac surgery program. I know that There's a lot of people in the community who are invested in that. It's something that I continue to sort of poke away at over the last 2 or 3 years.
Working very hard on the Development Corporation for the Ring of Fire. We're working with our industry partners, working with First Nations, working with the federal government, and I think that's going to be crucial to seeing the project moving forward. I want to continue to see the floor landing between Thunder Bay and Nipigon. That's a project that's been a dream project of mine from the moment I got elected in 1995.
I want to see more economic development, more businesses coming in. We're working with some developers to bring some new business into town. I can't speak of that right now, but we will have reports in the new year. The event center, we got some great proposals of interest from some very, very high quality players, and that's coming to council soon.
Well, a loft-style condo in downtown Port Arthur is set to be complete by spring. The Superior Lofts project at the corner of Cumberland and Lincoln Streets is more than 50% sold out. The owners gave us a sneak peek inside. This historic building on Cumberland Street is being transformed into a 15-unit building consisting of 3 commercial spaces and 12 residential units. The building sits at the corner of South Cumberland Street and Lincoln. Sean Serino, one of the 3 partners with the project, says the idea came after the group had spent time living in some of Canada's bigger cities.
You know, living in Toronto and other cities in Canada, everyone has an appeal for the sort of downtown cores and sort of the conversion of the heritage buildings. And Thunder Bay has a rich history of heritage architecture and buildings that can be reappropriated. And we just, you know, moving back here was one of the things that we looked at doing.
Each unit is unique, featuring exposed brick and beams. Units range in size from 600 to 2,100 square feet. Price ranges start at the high $100,000 range, and some units are still available for close to $200,000. Prices go up towards the $400,000 to $500,000 range.
People can make appointments to come and see them now. We have real estate agents on board to do that. And we've had numerous people through here already, and we're expecting probably by spring we'll have full occupancy and, you know, with just a little landscaping touch-ups to go after that.
The condos will feature a rooftop patio with views of Lake Superior and the Sleeping Giant. 6 units are still available, and it's set to be fully complete by the spring of this year. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of dogs or racing. When you come down to a dog sled race, you'll get your share of both. The 3-day event of Long Grand Portage Gitchigami Express Gun Flint Trail Race kicked off day 1 of racing. Mike Albanese headed across the border to check it out.
The second annual Gitchigami Express dog sled race kicked off Saturday from Grand Portage Lodge and Casino. 14 dog teams compete on a 3-stage, 3-day competition for a $25,000 purse. This race also marks world champion Buddy Streeper's return back to Minnesota after a 10-year hiatus. But Streeper is more concerned about his dogs having fun than another podium finish.
It's all about the dogs. Everybody here, whether you're 1st, 2nd, 5th, or 7th, it's all about the dogs. We all care about the dogs and how the dogs are treated. So the difference is how the dogs perform on any individual day. I could have a great day and finish 5th, but the dogs did perfect and I'm still a champion and the dogs just did perfect. So that's what we're going for, is to make the dogs happy and fit and have a good race.
Streeper is no stranger to putting a good team together, but Gunflint Trail is a bit of a different animal when it comes to terrain. With every obstacle in the books, the dogs need to have an all-around skill set to do well in this leg of the race.
Same as the type of trails that we're going to run, I kind of foresee the type of situations we're going to be in. If it's going to be a hilly format, I condition the team on some hillier trails. If it's going to be on a lake running, I'd run the dogs on some lakes. But this race here is a little diverse. We're going to be up and down some hills and out on some lakes and across in some rivers. So you kind of be an all-terrain team. So just a lot of different miles and different circumstances.
Dogs thrive when training in minus 10 to 20 degree weather, but any colder than that isn't optimal. This has put a little bit of a halt on training done by Nathan Schroeder, who is training for the Iditarod, which is a race that can last from 9 to 21 days.
Well, lately we've been dealing with a lot of cold weather, so it's kind of been a hit and miss on the training. You know, I don't like to run dogs when it's a certain temperature, like 20 below 0 Fahrenheit. So we usually we play with the weather when it gets cold, but it's been pretty good last couple weeks of training.
Even with the cold weather, Schroeder has been training so much that this race is coming as a nice distraction from the Iditarod. It's like a test run to see how far his team has come.
It kind of relieves me from all the training that I've done. Now I can go race a little bit, and lets the dogs be around other dogs and race other dogs, and it also lets you see how your training program's been holding out.
The race wraps up this Monday, and the weather looks to be getting a little chillier for the racers in the next 2 days. Mike Albanese,